Chapter 1133. Christian did not speak. Instead, he unleashed a terrifying spiritual pressure. There was also a wand in his hand that ignited with spiritual flames. The powerful spiritual pressure from the three cultivators filled the air. They rippled off each other and caused a powerful vortex to form. A natural phenomenon occurred before they even attacked. It was quite a shocking sight to behold. Salem and the others smiled when they saw that. These cultivators were at the intermediate sanctuary level. After all, Christian was the best one out of them. They believed these cultivators stood a chance against a peak sanctuary level cultivator if they all worked together. Moreover, they had an army equipped with all sorts of weapons. They believed they had no reason to fail. Demi, Bayer, Grant, and Nora were also confident when they saw how powerful the cultivators were. There were joyous looks on their faces. Sophie struggled to crawl on top of the ruins. She stared at the cultivators from afar. However, their spiritual pressure had spread to her area, which made her feel awful. She had faith in Wilbur, so she assumed Wilbur could defeat them. Excitement and admiration filled her gaze at that moment. Wilbur swept a quick glance over them before he looked at the cultivators. He said nonchalantly, "Do your best, otherwise, you guys wouldn't get a second chance once I attack." "How arrogant." "I don't buy it," yelled Ivan. He instantly unleashed his domain. "Endless Wrath Domain," he shouted, and his eyes instantly turned red. He looked as if he was going to devour someone. His body suddenly grew to a height of 3 meters. He became a man of steel with raging muscles. Red spiritual flames also burst forth from his body. He became frantic, and he growled while staring at Wilbur. His domain was the Endless Wrath Domain. It gave him an increase in power by 100-fold by forcing him into a rampaging state. He would not feel any pain in that state, and he would not be distracted by feelings. He became a violent killing machine that would not stop until his enemy was defeated. Jaskier also shouted, and spiritual flames surged to the sky. There were runes in those flames. The spiritual flames soon transformed into a suit of armor around him. The armor was filled with spikes, which made him look like a porcupine with impenetrable defense. His domain was the spiky armor domain. Jaskier had a much greater defense with his domain, and it had the ability to reflect damage back at this opponent. Those who attacked him would endure the wrath of their own attacks. His flesh was thickened when he unleashed his domain, which made him very resilient to attacks. Christian laughed creepily at that moment and raised his wand. A sinister blue flame ignited on his wand and was followed by another blue flame that ignited on his body, forming a blue robe around him. There were runes on the robe, and a surge of spiritual pressure poured out from it. His domain was the Soul Robe Domain. The Soul Robe Domain allowed his spell to penetrate through anything. The power of his spells would be improved, and he would be invincible against intermediate spells that were inferior. They were very powerful. All three of them unleashed their domains at once, so the spiritual pressure in the air intensified further. 3 spiritual pressures surged to the sky. It caused loud rumbling sounds and formed a spiritual vortex that was about 100 meters wide. Demi and the others had a smug smile on their faces. Sophie was standing about a kilometer away. She stood against the strong winds as she clenched her fists. She was looking at Wilbur with great determination.